everybody, and welcome to the wonderful world of football shirts, a podcast that is dedicated to all things football shirts. Whether you are a man that likes to heat press numbers onto the backs of shirts, whether you are a collector of trefoil Adidas kits, or whether you like to paint on old football shirts, or whether you just like to collect football-ish shirts from the noughties when David Beckham dressed up as a cowboy to kick a football at a barber shop, then we are the place for you. We are a safe space where you can share your opinions of your football kits. And we have got a special guest on the show today, and we're going to introduce him in just a moment. But first, let me introduce my co-hosts. We have Jake from Art on Shirts. Say hello, Jake. Or should I say Jacob?
Hello. No need for that this week. No need for that this week. How you doing, man? You all right?
Yeah, I'm great. How are you?
Good. Yeah, it's been a good week. It's been a busy week. The time flies, though. It seems like we only did the last podcast like 2 days ago.
I was going to say, it only felt like a week ago we did the last pod, right? But
nah, less than that. Less than that. When we had the Shirts v Boots boys on. Yeah. It was a good chat.
It was, wasn't it? And we're also joined by Woody. Hello, Woody.
Hello. Or do you want to call me Edward for this? Because that is my real name. And Jacob, I was very disturbed last week that we had to be so formal when I watched the podcast.
It was either go formal or we're bringing the nicknames out. And
true. Yeah, it's true.
You okay, mate?
Good to see your faces again.
Yeah, we missed you, but we did obviously say on the pod where you were. I understand that. How was seeing Chris Waddle?
It was beautiful. Yeah, I mean, it was almost like the kind of Kevin Costner, Whitney Houston bodyguard moment, but not as romantic. But not yeah,
for him,
great
anyway.
night. Not for him, though. Those were the thoughts in my head. But yeah, it was great. I mean, it was a really good evening. Carlton Palmer was on fire. He's a really good public speaker. John Sheridan was good as well. So yeah, it was nice. And I felt proud to be an owl.
Nice. That's always nice. And even though she's on mute, we've got Helen. Hello, Helen.
Hiya.
You okay?
Yeah, all good.
Good. Good. Any football shirt intel from Wales? Anything you've seen? There's no rugby to catch up on.
No, I did watch the Wales North Macedonia match yesterday, but I didn't know if there's any shirts.
Fair enough. No, that's understandable. Right. And we are joined by our guest today. And before I introduce our guest, because I'm going to lead into this brilliantly, it has been the International Week, and I know Woody doesn't like the International Week. We've all listened to his own podcast about International Week and how boring it is. But England played, and I cannot remember who they played on the Friday night. But did you notice the very interesting thing about England's front of their shirts, Jake?
I did, yeah. I did. And for me, I quite preferred it to the usual way.
Oh.
Yeah, I did. I liked it. So, well, you know what the best thing is? You know what the best thing about that story is? Is the guy responsible for it? It was just a bit of a mistake, which is the best thing about it. Yeah.
Oh God! Wow.
So, hoping to not make any mistakes on any football shirts, but also want to get your opinion. And it's a welcome back. Long time ago, one of the first guests we had on the pod. It's Chris from Cutting Edge Shirts. Say hello, Chris.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Too kind. I'm very well. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure.
So, yeah, it's actually quite fortuitous that England had a slight mishap with their printing, given the fact that you put so much care, attention into detail into your printing. What do you think? What did you think of the number change of number position? First of all, did you like it? Did it matter?
I'm not sure, so I didn't notice straight away while I was watching the game. I must have just been doing some work bits on my phone. I hadn't noticed straight away, and then messages started coming through. People sending pictures through and saying what's gone on here. So I'm not big enough to not name drop, so I'm going to name drop. So I have a semi-relationship with Pat, the England kitman. So I sent him a message to say what's gone on with the change of print here, and he genuinely came back and said it was just a mistake. I made a mistake on the first one, and I had to keep going. And then there was the exchange on social media. I think most people saw where he was asked and then put sort of out publicly. So I'm not big enough to not name drop Pat.
No, I mean, none of us are. But that's awesome.
But I put that. I've worked with him and stuff in the past. He sent me some bits and bobs, and he's a very generous man with his time, and sent from dealing with small people like myself. But I put that on a TikTok video. We'll come to a near 40-year-old man being on TikTok at some point, I'm sure. But I put that on the TikTok video that it was a mistake, and I'd spoken to the kitman, and someone tried to call me out and said, "Well, you didn't speak to the kitman, did you? You just saw the rest of us." And I thought,
I love that. There's always someone in that. Always someone.
I thought I'm not going to get into the realms of arguing with strangers on the internet and on TikTok, or even worse, revealing a private conversation between somebody on a message. So there we go. I didn't mind it, and I tell you what I thought, Rich. I actually thought, is this Nike trying to get a little bit more swoosh exposure with the placement? Be that a conspiracy or it was a mistake, or this is the new placement. Have a look at our swoosh. I mean, everyone knows the swoosh anyway, don't they? Right? But
have you had anyone actually put a request in for a shirt yet with the number underneath?
Not an order, but a couple of inquiries of Dan Burn shirts for the debut. Yeah, there's a few people want the Dan Burn shirt. And I think if he'd have scored one of the 48 headers that he had as well, I think that might have secured the deal, because he did. I don't know if you saw it. It was like a dad versus lad set piece. Like it was like you, Woody, with a bunch of under sixes in the penalty area. Just absolute bully.
Yep. Yep.
I was going to ask, and obviously Woody has, because I remember from our previous conversation, your attention to detail on doing the older kits where you'd research older shirts and just to see how numbers would be. It'd be really fascinating if a few years down the line, someone asked for a Dan Burn kind of shirt. You'd do the England versus
Albania.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Woody. And you'd have to put the number in the wrong place, but I didn't mind it. Really. I didn't think. I just appreciate the honesty, I think.
Rich, I tell you what will happen is I'll do that in about 3 years' time, and then someone will come to me and say, "Oh, the numbers are supposed to be in the middle."
Yeah,
and I'll show you the Beckham here that you've talked about before.
Nice.
And I've put that on social media before, thinking, if you know, very niche and all that, and then you'll get some dweeb going, I think you spelt it wrong. And you're like, that's the point, mate. That's what the post's about.
I
read the
completely
caption.
forgot that.
Read the caption.
People don't read, Chris. People don't read things. It's shocking.
It takes me bloody ages, mate, to write those captions up. So even if it's only a paragraph, so hopefully the people do read it.
So the shirt that Chris held up, what year was that from, Chris, if you don't mind me asking?
I forget, that was more of a visual thing, wasn't it? As a Charity Shield 97. And for those who don't remember, the David Beckham, I think he came on as a sub, actually, in that game. And his name was spelt, good knowledge, Jake, his name was spelt wrong as Beckham rather than Beckham on the back of the shirt. This is all off the cuff, by the way. I believe there was a story put out that they were sending the shirts away to be printed by an external printer, and they spelt it wrong. So it wasn't a case of the kit man at the time. It must have been Albert Morgan had just made a mistake and whacked it on and carried on. I think it was an external company. So they probably, imagine they came back in a box, opened them up at Wembley, fresh shirts. Oh, here we are.
But kit men are notorious for attention to detail, aren't they? So poor old Pat, to put his hands up and say it was a mistake, it must have been a bad day for him, bless him. But you'd never see that much now, would you?
No. It's all robotic now, isn't it? So it's it's nice to know that there's other people that make mistakes, not just me.
Well,
I'm sure you painted a shirt wrong before.
Every single one of them at one point, mate. I'm not even joking. I've got photos on my camera roll of shirts that look nothing like the final product. It's just literally just graft to try and make them look like them. But yeah, they all start off looking like... You remember my Gary Lineker that looked like Michael McIntyre, don't you, Rich?
Yes, I do.
Nobody doesn't make any mistakes at work, do they? People make mistakes at work sometimes. It happens.
True.
Massively. Chris, you see, obviously, a shirt like that England one. It must get you a little bit excited to see the kind of the differences that can be and like how interesting your work can be. Do you get excited when you see brand new name sets, fonts, and like of that sort?
Yeah, I think so. I think I've used this phrase last time we were on with beauty's in the eye of the beholder. And I think one person will love a fresh name set style and other people will hate them. So it seems like PSG do some quirky stuff, don't they, with their sets?
They do, yeah. They do.
And some people look at it and think, oh, I love that. And others probably think, oh, that's nonsense. I'm not really a fan. So it sort of varies. We all have that unconscious bias, don't we, of whether it's the club you like or a player you like or a shirt that you like or whether the colour complements it well. So I guess the answer is yes and no. Sometimes you look at something and think, oh, that's a nice one. Other times you want something a bit more traditional.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Chris, like when when a new shirt comes out, it gets quite exciting. Do you find a little bit of a buzz, say, if you hear or do you feel a little bit of terror just come in? You know, when a league's released a new sort of font, or because there was like a new La Liga one, wasn't there, like last year or the year before, and then obviously the Prem seems to change it every now and then as well. Do you sort of, because that's your niche part of the market, are you sort of interested in that as much as, say, like a new shirt release or something along those lines?
I probably notice stuff like that a little bit more, to be honest. I'll watch a game of football now, and as sad as it is, I'll be watching it looking at name set placement and how high the names are and the gaps between numbers and names and things like that. And, like during the Euros when all the sleeve patches were falling off, the amount of messages I had from people saying... either saying something kind, like you should be doing the printing for these shirts, or winding me up saying, did you print these Italian shirts?
Chris, going on about that, because obviously it was a bit of a big thing, wasn't it, during the last tournament, and obviously it happened for like multiple nations as well. Are you saying that's just poor materials used from the actual patches, or is it stuff like wrong application?
I reckon it's probably a bit of both, because that's what I started doing with those patches. So it genuinely, being completely open and transparent, it happened to me where a couple of customers said, look, these patches are falling off already. So I was like, well, what am I going to do? So what I was doing was I was printing the name sets at about 150 degrees and cooling them down and peeling them, all that sort of stuff. And then I was having to turn the heat press up to 160 and print them hotter for longer. To get the sleeve patches to stay on and get the glue to bind. So the heat press didn't know whether it was coming or going, because it was up and down. So that's what I did in the end to get around it. So in terms of your two-part question, I'd say yes to both. It's almost incorrect in application because it's not the right temperature, and it's probably the quality of the patches as well, needing to be pressed hotter. And I think in a competition like the Euros, you think if the kit men are printing however many shirts, 20, 30, 40, 50... they probably don't have the time, although there's probably multiple heat presses and a couple of guys doing it. They probably don't have the time to, they're rushing it, aren't they? And each match has got an individual match detail, and they must be non-stop printing for a month.
The FA Cup's been pretty bad this year, though, hasn't it, as well? I've noticed that. The Emirates badge on the sides come off a lot, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think with patches, the beauty of them is I just press them a bit hotter for a bit longer, the sleeves and the sleeve patches are quite often quite durable as well. They're sort of made of slightly thicker material. I know the Premier League ones are vinyl at the moment, but you can give them a bit more of a pounding with the press rather than the name set, which you've got to be careful of. You don't want to mark the shirt and all that sort of stuff.
Actually, that's really fascinating. I love that kind of chat because it really kind of delves into the whole crux of it. But kind of
Jake,
angle. Go on.
Is it all right to go back? So part of your question about the new prints and new name sets and stuff like that. So again, that's a bit of a two-pronged thing. It's a little bit exciting when there's new print comes out, new EFL print or new Premier League print, and there's a little bit of sort of trepidation of, can I get the print? How quickly can I get it? If people start ordering it. But then flip side of that is when they keep it the same for a couple of seasons and I've got some stock of it, I'm then always readily available to say yes to people and fulfill orders pretty quickly and all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of like twofold, really. It's exciting to see something new, order something new, deal with something new, take the orders, but also it's nice to have the stock and the capability to be able to say yes to people and get an order done pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like the EFL changed their print marginally this current season with just a black trim around the outside of the number and a slight change between the charities. But other than that, so the naked eyes or as a quick glance, it looks the same. But again, you've got to get that right between the seasons and
for
when
the
people
seasons.
order.
Yeah, of course.
So staying on the new theme of new fonts and name sets, Mexico turned out in their brand new Adidas kit. And their font was really quite unique. I don't know if you've seen this one yet, Chris. It was, and I've got the kind of description of the font itself, which was on the back of the shirt. This is the shirt we were showing you here, but the font is a pixelated font inspired by the Aztec pyramids and architecture. It's a blocky pattern, stepped, directly mimics the distinctive terraced structure of the Aztec pyramids, like Teotihuacan or Chichen Itza, those famous ones. And also, doesn't Raul Jimenez look absolutely fucking awesome?
He looks like a beast there.
He's absolute beast. I love him.
I mean, Rich, if you don't understand that level of information around a name set, I think you're in the wrong game, to be honest, mate. You should be able to reel that kind of knowledge off about everything.
So what do you make of it?
I'll take their word for it.
Yeah. It's one of those ones, isn't it, where it sounds like bullshit, but actually you can kind of read into it and be like, I saw it straight away and I thought it's quite a nice looking font. It's, again, it'd be one that'd be really unique and hard to find, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's a nice shirt. I like the shirt. I'm just looking at the picture now. The long sleeves, lovely. I like the long sleeves, and there's some kind of cuff at the end, isn't there? I know the cuff's on Raul Jimenez's bicep there. There's also a bit down on Alvarez's cuff. Looks really nice in the long sleeve. I like that. The shirt reminds me a little bit of LAFC, where Gareth Bale was. They wore black and gold, didn't they? And I'm trying to work out if that is gold or yellow, but yeah, it's an interesting one. I like it. I do like it. When Raul Jimenez was at Wolves, I printed quite a lot of Mexico shirts for Wolves customers.
Yeah, you did. We loved it. So
don't do too many. Don't do too many Fulham for him though. Not done too many yet.
Well, that's a shame. I mean, maybe soon. So, Helen, would you mind zooming in just a little bit so we can see some of the detail on this one, because this is fascinating. So, last week? Adidas went and released a few different shirts, and Mexico was one of them. A black away shirt, a black shirt. I don't know if it's a away shirt, but it was made for their Gold Cup competition. It's black with gold Adidas 3 stripes, the Trefoil logo in the center, the Mexico badge, this kind of more modern one, which is a bird. And then I did a bit of Googling as well, because it has to pass the Woody test for my liking. And the Woody test is as Woody knows, it's the design for design's sake, or does it have a meaning? And these shirts, the pattern in there is the same pattern that mariachi band people have on their suits. So it's different. It's very Mexican, and I kind of dig it, is what I'm trying to say.
It's phenomenal.
It's gone big, phenomenal. I like that.
Yeah, this shirt is phenomenal. I think it's probably one of the best ones this year, probably, I think, in terms of Adidas. I just think the whole kit is awesome, and a black kit, you can't do any wrong.
Woody, if you get it, mate, go long sleeves, please. The long sleeves are beautiful.
My arms are too long. They just I'll have to roll the cuffs up.
You know, like
but yeah, what I do love about this shirt, though, is, like you said, Chris, is the cuff design. I think like that kind of Aztec pattern. The centralised badges as well are just awesome. And yeah, I think, like you said, Rich, the kind of detail within the kit, like the mariachi band and stuff like that, I just think it's really tastefully done on this kit. It's not just chucked on there and hope for the best. Like, they've really thought about this design, and I think it's really nice.
Yeah, what do you think, Jake?
Nothing more to add, to be honest. I echo everything that Woody's just said. beautiful, absolutely stunning. Long sleeved is just insanely cool. Love all the trim. I think like you said, Rich, the name set on the back is really cool as well. It's just a win, an absolute win.
So let's go from Chris. We will talk more about your kind of stuff in a bit, if you don't mind. But these shirts kit drop was really quite intense, and we really want to cover it off.
Of course.
The other one, to go from this fantastic shirt, and I will probably call on you, Woody, because at the same time, there's a famous team in Amsterdam that had a kit as well. And you're not particularly the biggest fan of it.
No, I'm probably the minority. I think it's a very sought after shirt, and a lot of people have loved it. I don't find anything special about it at all, to be honest. It just reminds me of horse racing, like a jockey top.
So what we are,
you must be anti-jockey as well, Woody. A man of your size, you know, something you were never going to be, right?
Exactly, from birth. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the kind of the badge and stuff, I mean, I don't know what they're. It just doesn't look right. The shirt composition just doesn't look right, and also topped off with the fact that the goalkeeper, like you've mentioned, was done very dirty with not having a kit to match. I don't see what the fuss is about with this one.
The goalkeeper on the end with the standard Sunday League template reminded me of the Roma photo when Ashley Cole was stood on the end, like he didn't belong.
Yeah.
what
I mean, I don't know what else's opinions on this are. So yeah.
Well, what I find fascinating is you were very complimentary of the Mexico shirt in long sleeve. This was only made in long sleeve for the players. And I don't like it as a shirt. I don't think it's very nice, but I think that's because of the way it looks on the body. Because I've got, I don't know if I shared it with you guys, but I've got the picture of the Ajax team from whenever it was that wore the original shirt, and it almost looks very similar. Like it's a very kind of oversized shirt, so they're kind of ticking boxes of it being almost like for like. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of positive.
It just hangs, doesn't it?
It hangs, yeah. But for that exact same reason, I don't like it as a modern shirt. I know, Jake, you like the fact that the sponsor is readied out on the women's one as well. But I don't actually like the badge either.
I like the badge.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I mean, I mean, we look. If you look back at those photos that they were taking inspiration from, like you just mentioned, and they have done a like for like on pretty much everything. I think as a combination. Yeah, but I think keeping it all central works probably on.
No, it does. It does. Yeah.
As a full kit as well, I'm a big fan of it. To be fair, I quite like it. I don't know why they didn't opt for that sort of Adidas Originals goalkeeper kit that they've all had this season. I don't know why they just didn't go for that. It seems crazy, especially considering that they did it for Mexico and even for the German shirt that they've released a new sort of simplified.
Did Villa get one as well?
No.
No.
Oh yeah, no.
They had something, didn't they?
That's a good shout, actually. I'll have a look.
You're referring to that black shirt.
Did they have some kind of black shirt? Was it Champions League, maybe?
It was for
FA
the
Cup.
FA Cup.
Yeah.
FA Cup.
Villa wore the black shirt with the white shorts, white socks. Is that right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what the goalkeeper had, but we'll find out in a second. But Jake, you teased it. You teased the fact that Germany, as well, who we are all now aware, are leaving Adidas. Is it this year or next year? Does anyone know?
I think this is their last year. I think they go to Nike next year.
So they'll turn to Nike before the World Cup.
Yeah.
So this is their swan song, their kind of final push in an Adidas kit. And Woody, have you seen the advert?
Yeah, the Rudi Voller. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you can do any wrong, to be honest, with an Adidas Originals advert with Rudi Voller. I just think, again, even their marketing with like Thomas Muller and stuff wearing like the kind of 70s kind of clothing and stuff just sold the shirt perfectly for me. Yeah, I loved it.
Chris, with your Rudi Voller style mustache, are you a fan of this shirt?
Well, it wasn't going to be the haircut, was it? Yeah, I do like it. I must be getting old. It's just simpler shirts, simpler colours.
Thank you.
It's nice. I like the stunning simplicity of it.
Yeah.
And forgive me, Woody, you are wearing it right now, right?
Yes. Yeah, I'm wearing it right now.
So how is it just plain white, or is there a little bit of detail that we can't see, like a jacquard or? So,
firstly, it is beautifully ribbed. It's literally got like
for everyone's pleasure,
for your pleasure or mine.
So I don't know if you can see on the badge.
Yes.
Underneath, there's like a kind of almost like a jacquard hologram of, I think the eagle. The badge is just effortlessly beautiful. There is no stripe on the sleeve, nothing. What I love about this is.
Is it vinyl crest or is it stitched on?
Stitched on.
Okay, nice.
And it's just, I just think, as Chris said, how simple it is just perfect. I mean, even the goalkeeper one, light blue with the black collar, I mean, that is gorgeous as well. Like, they've done so well with that kit. And I think if that is their send-off, I mean, what a way to go.
Have we seen the special version in the box? The all-white one?
Of course they do a box one.
Yeah, they do it. They've done a box one. And obviously with that one, it's taken sort of inspiration from, obviously, the black ring neck German shirts. There's an all-white one.
And you have to buy the full kit, don't you, with that?
No idea about that. No idea. But I've only seen someone just, take it out of the box thing on a video.
Okay.
I thought that looked quite smart as well, but it's quite expensive.
Oh, are they using this one at the moment, or are they using the all white one?
Yeah, I saw Kimmich. Yeah, Kimmich scored a pen, I think, in that one.
I saw the same picture, Jake, as well.
Yeah,
because obviously it's my meat and potatoes is name sets and patches, but I like it how you've got it, Woody. So like simple and plain. But when I saw it in a match as well, I think I saw the same picture as you, Jake, with Kimmich, and I thought that looked really good.
It did. It looked really nice. Cool.
Yeah, it's nice.
Does the kind of UEFA Nations League badge and stuff, though, do you think it ruins kits like this from a design perspective? Because that's quite a garish patch, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe from a... I should say no, shouldn't I? Everyone should come and buy their patches from me.
It looks mint.
No.
You should see it in real life.
Yeah, follow the link to buy. No, I don't know. I'm just... I think you're more of a purist collector than I am, Woody. I like a shirt just looking like a match issue shirt, and I've got a kitman element to my view, and looking at patches and print and how it sits and everything. So I reckon there's maybe the middle ground between an ideal collector's point like yours, where it's kept totally blank, and having it look like it's been hung up in the dressing room for the players themselves. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know, Rich. Can I ask Chris a question about patches?
Of course you can. Absolutely.
What I'd like to know is there such thing as a shirt? Can it be ruined by patches? If you think about tournament football, so if you look at, if I think of Euro 2004, that was like the gold heart, wasn't it? Like the Lisbon.
Yes.
Was that the one?
Yeah. So and then the white patch on the right and the yellow round fair play one on the left, that one.
Yeah. So... Do you think patches are ruining shirts now? Because obviously now you've got just the one Premier League patch with a sponsor on the other. Do you think it's kind of ruined compared to the traditional sort of Cantona one you've got behind you with the Premier League? And...
Well, I'm massively going to sound like I'm blowing smoke up your arse, but I've been listening to your 90s Premier League podcast, and I'm very much in your and Jonesy's camp that everything was better in the 90s anyway.
Yeah.
So those the lion patches on both sides, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. And for me, I'm going off on a tangent slightly, but it's not just the patches. It's the things that bother me are all the additional sponsors, sleeve sponsors, sponsors on the bottom of the back of shirts and all that kind of bollocks.
Or the top of them. Yeah.
They'd put a sponsor on a player's forehead if they could. They'd squeeze a few quid out of it, wouldn't they? And the current Premier League patches now, like they're not the best, are they? They're like, it's a great big garish purple lion.
Horrible.
The little sort of triangular shaped ones before with the FA Premier League on, they were better, but that might well be just again a man who's hurtling towards 40, shouting at clouds. Things used to be better.
On going on to that Cantona one that's just over your left shoulder, it's actually funny because I can't picture that shirt without the Premier League patches. Like most modern ones, I don't have patches on any of my shirts, so I'm not a patch guy. I very rarely have names on the back now, actually. But I couldn't have a black Cantona one without the Premier League patches, so that it just fits. That 90s one makes it fit and is as iconic as the sponsors are, aren't they? Really?
Yeah. And I think Woody in the warm up. Woody showed his Yap Stam shirt behind, and a lot of United fans would go for that shirt with the gold Lion Champions patches on. Mm-hmm. But because they wore it across 2 seasons, depends what season you want it to be. If you want it to be worn as the treble season, how Woody's got it with the old single. I don't know if you can show us, Woody, on your screen, but those patches, they wore the plain ones because they weren't the champions that season. But obviously they went and won the treble. And then got to wear. So a lot of people will go for the champions ones after because they like the gold.
Yeah.
Not anything I've ever had to worry about.
Yeah.
Me neither, mate. I
don't think United will for a long time. I might be hurtling towards about 70, I think, by the time they're back there.
Keep the faith, Chris. We'll be all right.
Well, finishing the top 10 would be good for now, wouldn't it? We'd take that.
So with that one in mind, the Germany one, you're a fan of that one. It's such a kind of juxtaposition because with that kind of classic looking shirt, the number sets are quite basic, aren't they? But I guess would that equally be as fun because they're quite basic, or do you find it just completely boring?
Are you asking me?
Yes, I am, Chris, the person who...
Sorry, mate.
I should have addressed it to you.
I haven't. No, it's all good. I didn't want to dominate and jump in. I haven't seen the print up close yet, so there might be some kind of detail on it. Sometimes you see a print at a distance, it just looks a plain black print, and then when you peel it and take the backing off, there's a nice detail or a shimmer or something like that underneath it that sort of catches you by surprise that you can't see through the plastic backing. So I'd be interested to see how that looks printed in close up. Of the 3 we've discussed, the Germany one, the Mexican one, and the Ajax one, I was hoping you weren't going to come to me with the Ajax one because I was totally nonplussed about it. I couldn't bring myself to like it or hate it one way or the other. But the only thing I did notice about it was the numbers they had on the back were just a plain white number that they wore with no names. So there's something about that as well that I quite like. I love printing names on shirts, but there's something about it being so long ago that players just wore a number with no name that when they go back to that now and again, I can't help but think, oh, nice.
Yeah. Little tingle.
Yeah. Graham Souness, we've got our game back.
I think I think other teams do it as well, but I know Wolves do it in pre-season. When we have these pre-season tours, there's no names on the back and the numbers just seem slightly bigger. And it's so beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, most Premier League teams can't wait to get the name on the shirt, can they? Because they just want everyone to know who's the new number 7 or who's the new striker or whatever, and start making some bloody money. There might miss a 20-minute window where they don't know what number he is. Get some bloody money.
Jake, I'll come to you because we're going to stay on the name sets, but we're also still going to look at new shirts. And Helen, you might be able to help because Chris may not have seen this one if you can bring it up. But Jake, you spotted a shirt.
I did, yeah. It's the brand new Young Boys shirt. You know what? I've not done my research onto what type of shirt it is or anything like that. I was
just go careful what you type into your search engine now, mate.
Yeah, it's not young boys in the stadium that they play in. Still makes me smile. I'm so immature.
You'll have the FBI at the window.
Literally, I've no idea what detailing or why they've released this shirt. I was just blown away visually by it, and obviously I recommend everyone to jump on it as well and have a look. It's just a Nike teamwear template in black, and we've seen it before when they've done stuff like this with teams, and they give them a special one or a third one, and it's just a teamwear shirt. But this sort of vinyl detailing is just wow. It's mental. What's the story behind it, Rich?
So it's their special script designed as a powerful statement against racism and discrimination. So there's a hashtag YB for everyone campaign. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the back, and if you zoom in ever so slightly, you can see it's a kind of
of course, fight sexism.
That says different kind of things like fight sexism and racism and all that kind of stuff. Chris, this must excite you with this name set on the back.
It's pretty cool, isn't it? It's pretty cool. It's very different. It's very different. It's nice that it's got a proper, powerful message attached to it as well, as opposed to it just being for a bit of a lark. I like the fact it's on the sponsor. I think there'll be a crossover of football fans who happen to like or used to when they were kids like cartoons will be into it due to the pattern and how it looks. I think there'll be a bit without being disrespectful, and I don't want all of our Swiss followers to turn off now, but you almost want it to be attached to a slightly bigger club with a bigger profile, really.
I thought it was Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh, the same sponsor, isn't it?
Same sponsor.
Same sponsor.
Yeah. And from a business perspective, I can't imagine I'm going to get too many shirt requests for that. So if it was with a bigger club, if it was on a Real Madrid shirt with Trent Alexander-Arnold's new name set all over it, it'd feel good.
But I reckon that's going to be a tricky one to find as well, because I wouldn't imagine it being readily available. So you'd have to go searching for it, wouldn't you?
It wouldn't surprise me if it's one of those ones that's just released for the club only, and you might not be able to get it.
But go back to the front of the shirt though, and as Jake said, that the way the badge is done and the Nike swoosh is absolutely phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very nice. I like the pattern.
Is it a hologram kind of one, or is it actually the pattern over the badge is just like the same as the font on the back?
I think it's got the colour. It's got like an outline around the badge.
Is it an outline
for the colour? But then the actual the Young Boys logo itself is like two different shades of black. So whether it's one's shiny, one's matte, or whether one's a slightly different shade, I'm not too sure from the photo.
I think Chelsea had it on a shirt, didn't they, in the last few years?
They did.
Sort of hologram raised, coloured crest and swoosh.
Yeah.
You'll be pleased to know, Chris, that this also comes in a box.
Does it?
Yeah.
I don't own a shirt in a box. I just only ever see people on Twitter opening them up.
It's. I mean, the box looks quite nice because it looks like a cartoon comic book thing. So I love the message. I love the pattern. I also think that this Nike template shirt that you've got, which I think is very similar to the Chelsea third shirt, isn't it? With when they've got their upside down facing Nike tip, but you can also see a bit of cartoon comic book Liechtenstein pattern in it as well, can't you? With the dots.
Yeah, those big pixels.
Yeah,
I like it. It's cool. Different.
Yeah, it is. It is right. Right. Let's get back to Chris. And I'm sure.
Before we move on,
oh yeah,
Rich,
go on.
can you just say again when and where they're wearing it?
Of course, because I know that. Because I did the research.
29th of March, Saturday, you said.
Yeah. So this kit will be worn by young boys in their game on the 29th of March. And who are they playing? Who are they playing against? Does it say? Or does it just say who they're playing?
Are they playing at home, Rich? Whereabouts are they playing it?
Good Lord, mate. I didn't really do some research. I just checked it right now. Okay, right. So the young boys will be wearing this kit on the 29th of March against FC St Gallen.
Oh.
What colour is young boys' kit? Is normally yellow, isn't it? So I'd imagine this is an away game.
Red. I thought they were red. Why did I want to say red and blue?
Or maybe
yellow and black. Basel.
You're thinking of Basel,
red and blue.
Oh, get it. I'm getting them all mixed up.
There we go. Is that all right for you, Helen?
Yeah.
Jake, I think United played young boys a few times, didn't they, in the Europa League a few years ago?
Yeah, I remember.
Pogba scored a really good goal on a plastic pitch against them.
Yeah,
the plastic pitch.
I swear, Ronnie played against them, didn't he? When he on his last comeback.
In that he scored in that.
Was it the blue and white?
Blue, yeah, the one that was a bit of a throwback to the 90. The shirt you've got, the 92-ish.
Snowflakey one.
The snowflake one. That's it. Yeah, it was a throwback to that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on a plastic pitch as well. Absolute nerds knowing stuff like that, mate. What a pair of nerds.
Yeah.
Hey,
ask me anything. Ask me
it's a room full of nerds.
Woody, when you said at the start regarding the United, the best United shirt, the one, then Jake wasn't in the chat then he pinged in. That's my favourite.
Yeah.
It's got on there, the 1990 home. That's my favourite United shirt. I'm not just saying that because Jake's sat there looking at me with his nice beard.
It is beautiful.
And the fact that I want him to paint a shirt for me, that's not why I'm bothering him.
Sweet talking.
It is a beautiful shirt.
So let's move on to just Chris chat, because it's been a while since you've been on. It's quite funny because we were talking before you came on how, like, when you came on the pod, we were both kind of starting out. The podcast was quite new, only a few weeks old. You yourself had only just been going, the lockdown did us all in and you decided to take up printing. But you've just gone from strength to strength, and all I see is you with more and more orders. And it's fantastic. So well done, first of all. I don't mean that sarcastically, but it's terrific news. And I love the fact that you kind of stuck to it. So how is business?
Good. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, when we spoke setting this podcast up, it sort of took us back, didn't it, to how long ago it was when we first spoke. And at the risk of sounding like a narcissist, I obviously listened back to the last couple that we did as well, just to refresh myself. It was so long ago. And yeah, things have gone on from strength to strength since then. So I've now got bespoke office space for like a CES headquarters, which is an office space that I had designed and put in at home to give me a more bespoke space to work in versus doing it in my kitchen, which is what I was doing when I first spoke to you and how it started. So that's humbling. It's amazing. I love it. Settled in. I do everything from here. The business has gone from strength to strength that it's in its own right. It is a full-time job now, which is fantastic, but overwhelming and stressful sometimes as well, trying to juggle my real job, family, all of those kind of things. But it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And again, without blowing smoke up the arses of you guys, it's just humbling to be asked onto a podcast like this for a third episode, and to still be sat here talking about shirts with people that you're getting to know in the community. You mentioned shirts versus boots at the start. That's another brilliant thing that's come out of me starting the printing business and everything. So as much as it becomes stressful and overwhelming and busy, and I've got to do this and I've got to do that, and I'm pulling myself apart, sorting it out, when I do step back and think about it, or listen to someone like yourself and do a bit of a recap, I am humbled by it, and I am really appreciative as to how it's gone.
Well said, mate.
Yeah, so you might as well talk a bit about shirts versus boots, because we're wanting to promote it as much as possible, and it's a chance for me to finally, after 3 years, actually meet you in person. But there was the chat that was it Jake? Was it 40 or 30 or 40 patches were sourced?
Yeah, there's quite a few.
I mean,
I can't reveal anything. This is as close as Dan will let me get to showing you anything
Look at this.
Shirts versus boots stuff in this box. There's print, there's patches, and I'm not opening it because Dan will rip my head off.
Hey, I can't believe he's been so secretive about it. Dan usually says everything, doesn't he? You can't keep him quiet, can you? Unless it's to do with shirts versus boots.
I listened to him yesterday morning when I was on the M40 saying I'm telling you nothing.
Nah.
I successfully just dropped. I'm in a mare. Just dropped my phone. I'm back. Well, that's fine. You're doing a good job there, keeping it secret. And
so yeah, it's mum's the word on that. My life wouldn't be worth living if I was to reveal anything.
But you've got to do shirts and boots kits, haven't you?
I believe so. Definitely shirts. I'm not sure about the boots. I believe so.
Oh, right, okay.
We're currently in negotiations.
Upside down numbers.
Okay. Yeah. Going to print
numbers over here.
So shirts that don't fit them. Extra small shirts, so they're really uncomfortable, and big baggy shorts. No, Dan's coming to the office at some point to give me a hand to sort that out. Spend a bit of time together, and it's probably an excuse to go and have a few refreshments afterwards as well to celebrate our work. But shout out to Dan with that. Talking while I'm on the subject of blowing smoke up people's arses, he's a good friend of mine and he's a good friend of a lot of ours. He's a fantastic bloke in the community, but what he does for the shirts versus boots is... Hang on, what did he tell me to say? No, I'm joking. It was, but no, genuinely what he does. I described it to someone the other day as, you know, when you go on a stag do and there's like 20 people and you sort of think one bloke has like spent a year organising this and he's got everyone together in the same place and everyone's paid their deposit and they've got to the hotel. That's what Dan's like. And every big group of people going somewhere or getting together needs someone like that. So hats off to Dan and what he does for all of us with that.
Chris, are you centre-back for it again? I believe Dan's called you Cambiasso.
Well, so I think so. I'll be somewhere lolloping along that back line. Depends where I slot in. I was on there. I jumped on their live call a couple of weeks ago for their first Wednesday night shirts versus boots preview, and he uttered the words something like, "Chris will be there making an appearance." And I was, hang on a minute, and I'll cut you off. That sounds a lot like I might be coming to Holland for like a 7-minute cameo off the bench. Making an appearance.
Might stick him on for the last 10.
Yeah.
I'm not booking my flights until I get some promised minutes.
See, this is where he could become like the Harry Redknapp of shirts versus boots now. Yeah. Just puts everyone in, has his favourite Nico Cranchar.
Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, we had him on the pod last week, and the idea being that he would announce that I'm part of the shirts team, a goalkeeper. He didn't mention I was playing at all. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Chris, if we are playing together and we do get to be a centre-back goalkeeper, can we do the reverse? Yeah, can we do the reverse Laurent Blanc Barthez and I'll just kiss you top of your head?
Worryingly, in terms of wavelength, I knew where that question was going after about the second word. So yes, we can. Yes, we can do that. That's as long as they capture it on Stunner Media, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Hey, here's a question. Did we ever see that in a United kit? That Laurent Blanc, Fabien Barthez?
I don't think so.
Oh, I don't know whether they were there at the same time.
I think they were both just too fucking knackered to even think about stuff like that.
As I say,
Blanc was shocking, wasn't he, to be fair?
They were two 45-year-old blokes just smoking 40 a day, weren't they, by that?
Yeah, in the changing rooms, like pre, post and during.
Bollocks.
Thierry Henry.
Yeah.
You run them ragged.
Yeah. No, I don't think we did. It's a good question, though. I like that.
Yeah, it's one of them. Although, to be fair, Woody, it's perfect for your pod, but I think it's just outside the 90s remit.
Outside.
Yeah.
He's 2001, wasn't he?
Yeah, we don't talk about 2000s.
Jake, are you involved in the shirts versus boot stuff at all?
I'm not this year. No, I was offered, but it's... I mean, I know you've referenced it before as well, but I'm also hurtling towards 40. And I'm actually going away during that little period of time for my 40th, so I won't be making an appearance this year. But following year, fingers crossed, I'll be involved. I
wouldn't want to put you on the spot at all, but I tell you what would be really cool is if you were to come to next year's And if you were to bring a little bit of your artwork and do some in front of people at the side of the pitch, how would you feel about that? Would that be like too much pressure, or?
Chris, I'll have to be doing it off the subs bench, mate, because I'm playing if I'm coming.
Fair enough.
Me and Rich will be going for the number one. Just doing it with a kit on the side of the pitch. We want a drone shot at the end.
I'm glad I can't see Buchanan.
The cricketer Jack Russell used to do it on the side of a cricket pitch, and he used to do painting whilst they were playing. He'd just paint it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I could imagine Jake just doing exactly the same on the sideline, just kind of painting away
during the match, whilst they're on the attack. Jake, they're attacking you. Get back in your net.
I didn't. I obviously won't know where Shirts versus Boots 6 will be, whether it's in the UK or what. But I didn't mean you not playing. I just meant in terms of showcasing your skills.
No, yeah. I mean, it's an event that I've kind of. I mean, when the first one happened, I was kind of just trying to find my feet, really. And as obviously they've gone to 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like I've slowly started to become more and more part of like the community and stuff like that. So it's one of them things that I'd love to be involved with. And like we had Dan on last year. It might have been just when I started doing this, joining Rich like full time on the pod. And like I was like, I'm in. And then when he told me the date of it in June, I was just like, I'm gonna have to miss it, gutted. But next year, I mean. Hopefully no big birthdays around then. So I'm there, I'll be there.
It's a really good weekend, mate. It's really good to be. Woody will tell you the same thing, and Rich will after this year as well. It's a great thing to be involved in, and you meet some really good people, and the vibes all weekend are just quality. I come back last time, less so last time because I was hungover and we'd lost 6-0, but definitely the year before. I was on a come down from it from like 2 or 3 days. It was brilliant.
Yeah, it looks class. Although I'll probably be back in it when Cam's back after his Achilles is fully healed, and he'll just be smashing in free kicks from God knows where.
Yeah, he might be your least of your worries. Some of the ones you had to play against last year.
Chris,
you're
back on the show after, like I say, 3 years. And since those 3 years, we have developed a new segment of the show for our guests, which is called Football Shirt Room 101, in which we ask our guests to come on the show, the pod, and much like the old TV show Room 101, you enter an item into Room 101, which will never be seen again. Only we're doing it with football shirts. So whether it's you don't want to ever see shirt sleeve sponsors again, whether you don't want to see lace-up collars or fluo shirts or goalkeepers wearing short-sleeve shirts and base layers. What else do we have? We had people don't like V-neck collars. Don't want to see V-neck collars again. Chris, welcome to Football Shirt Room 101.
Mine is a little bit of an old man gripe, and I can't stand. PSG are guilty for it. Borussia Dortmund are guilty for it, bringing out these 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th kits, cup kits, a kit that looks like the home kit that's slightly different. Granted, my team, even back in '99, had a special European shirt. So maybe I'm talking out my arse with that, but I'm just not a massive fan of it being like, we're in the territory now where teams release a home, away, and a third every year, which if adults want to buy, it's expensive. If mums and dads want to buy it for their kids, it is really expensive. But then to be releasing 4ths and 5ths and cups and special editions and things, I just find it a little bit too much. But then I'll be a hypocrite as well, because I'll see something like the Young Boys one we just said and say, that's a nice one. So it's a tough one. But I think for me it'd be that, going as far as when you read 4th kit, 5th kit, it's just a bit too much for me.
That's fair enough. And actually using the Young Boys one as a perfect example, and the PSG, as you've mentioned, one is made for fashion's sake, with PSG being Jordan and it being the wings, and one being for almost charity / raising awareness sake. So there is a difference, I think, and definitely. A lot of the time the charity ones are, done for the right reason and will be sold on, won't they? They usually they'll wear them once, get them auctioned off and raise a lot of money for said charity.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to work out whether it would be better if teams were to do it with their third kit and wear it a few times so that they raise awareness and raise a bit more money. There's a few more match shirts to auction off, therefore a bit more income and a bit more of a donation, as opposed to it just being a one-off and then it gets forgotten about. Maybe something like that. But you did team me up for this one as well, and I mentioned it earlier on. I can't stand sleeve sponsors. It drives me around the bend. Especially, I don't mind if a League Two team has got a sleeve sponsor because it gives them an extra $50,000 a year in revenue. They need it, no problem. But these Premier League clubs that are paying vast amounts of money for very average footballers, when they're just trying to squeeze another bloody brand onto the shirt, it just drives me mad.
I feel accepted with this Room 101, Chris.
Don't tell Sir Jim I said that, because he'll revoke my season ticket. Big Tory bastard.
Yeah.
What, when you've slapped off his Mexican wine company supplier?
Yeah, his pot noodle provider.
Our Indonesian pillow dispenser.
Yeah. I had an email yesterday, or a couple of days ago, to renew my season ticket. They want bloody facial recognition this season to get it done. They'll be taking my inside leg measurement next season.
Wow.
Give it a rest for you.
Yeah, that's it's so bad. That's how people used to get to go to the games. Just passing on a ticket, passing on your season ticket and stuff like that for a game. It's just come on, man.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what? Fine, I'm going to pull that lever. 4 shirts that are only worn once can go thoroughly in the Room 101 and never be seen again.
Thanks for humouring me.
That's all right. We're quickly running out of time. We try and keep it within an hour, but we always overrun. And for that, Helen, I am incredibly sorry, because it makes more work for you. But I do want to kind of revisit something we spoke about last week, which is the football show that we're doing in Essex, in line with Corinthians footballers. Chris, did you used to collect the little big head footballers? You did, didn't you? Because you always post them.
Yeah. So when I started CES, they were just stuffed away in a shoebox somewhere because I didn't have an opportunity to display any memorabilia or have anything up. So as much as I did have a shirt room at home during lockdown, I think they were just sat in a shoebox. And it was only when the office got put in that I got these, you'll laugh, they are nail varnish stands that women and probably some men use to, like a tier. So it looks like a stand. I wish I could turn the camera around and show you. And they're all lined up on that, and I just randomly pick a couple each time and shove them in front of my green bags for a little bit of engagement. People seem to love it. I just sort of I can look in now, I'll just grab an Alan Shearer and a Rivaldo or something and chuck them in front of the packages and say, who's this? And people seem to love it. But
I enjoy it.
And I've been listening to Andy's episode on your Andy's custom Corinthians and what he does with them and what he's doing for you guys and stuff at the moment. Like, there's some talented people around, isn't there? I'm just whacking name sets on backs of shirts, and then you see people like that. And Jake with the painting, there's genuine talent out there. It's really good.
Thank you.
You do yourself down there because what you do is an art, because the amount of effort, time and concentration you put into, like you said earlier about looking at going, oh, that name set looks a little bit higher, so, the stuff you do is equally as good, just in a different way.
Thank you, mate.
So well
Very
done.
Kind.
I don't know if we all saw, but Custom Corinthians, aka Andy, did post that he has started painting the 12 shirts that we had recommended to him re the football show. He's done the Everton one. He did the Newcastle one, and Woody, know it. Who was the one he did on the left? That was it Rummenigge? No, it wasn't.
Reggie Blinker.
Why am I thinking about?
You've had a Reggie Blinker there. You've had a Reggie Blinker.
Goodness me! It was the onomatopoeic sound of the name.
That Everton one must have been so hard to paint, by the way.
Was it the white and grey? Was it the white and grey one? Oh, wow.
Yeah. The Sheffield Wednesday one looks amazing, but I think we've given him 3 there that are incredibly detailed to paint. Because even the Newcastle burgundy navy blue hooped shirt is difficult.
Oh, here we go. Look at this. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The Everton. And is that Kanchelskis? It's got to be, hasn't it?
Yeah. Kanchelskis, Ferdinand and Blinker, isn't it, I think?
I can't wait to see the
Can I do a massive name drop again?
Yes, go on.
Yeah.
So back when I started, I printed some shirts for Andrei Kanchelskis' son, who is also Andrei Kanchelskis.
Amazing.
And his dad had given a lot of his shirts away, or sold them, or swapped them, or lost them moving countries and things. And I was sorting a couple of Everton shirts out for him, and he wouldn't mind me saying this. We keep in touch a little bit now. But as part of the package, I've sent him a couple of shirts since, but as part of the initial package, when I sent the Everton ones back, I sent the Everton Andrei Kanchelskis in the blue home kit, number 17, back as just a little gift, just to say sort of thanks for your custom. Now I'm looking at my tower thinking I could do with that back. But,
If you're listening, Andre.
Chris, if you rewind like 3, 4, what was it, 4, 5 years now? 4 years? When you first started. Did you ever think that, like, Andrei Kanchelskis' son would be getting in touch with you to do shirts and stuff? It's mad where things can take you, isn't it?
And at the risk of sounding like a massive wanker, I was followed by Henri Camara earlier on as well. I don't want to show off too much.
I love that. That's insane. I love stuff like that. It's brilliant. That's awesome.
Yeah, but no, you're right, Jake. You're right. There's no way. Like when I started out, and I thought I was messaging every friend and family member under the sun to try and get my first orders out there and just say, look, I've started doing this now. Could you tell everyone you know? There's nothing else I won't say. I can't say no to. Blah blah blah. And yeah, as you say, to now be in the position I'm in now, I'm very very fortunate.
Yeah, crazy man.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, Henri Camara, who scored played for Wolves, famous for wearing 2 sweatbands.
Yeah. Well, they Senegalese sweatbands he wore as well.
Yeah.
Wasn't he like he played
I was
for?
racking my brains that I thought I could have sworn I printed his shirt at some point, but I couldn't find it on my phone and couldn't think.
He's one of those players who just scored a load of goals for one team, then bought himself a move, and then scores 0 goals again.
It was a day of days for me, actually, because I woke up this morning, he didn't follow me, but Antonio Valencia had mentioned the shirt post that I put of his Wigan shirt a few weeks ago in his story. Which was nice. But he didn't follow, so we're not really friends. So.
It's like when they view it, just give it a like, man.
Yeah, press the button for me. Yeah. Do you get it a lot, Jake, with your stuff?
I get some randoms, yeah. I get like random little connections. I get some cool ones as well every now and then, which make it kind of all worthwhile. Any son? I've had Paul McGrath's son.
All right.
If we're going by sons, but like I had a flurry of it was like partners, like girlfriends of. So I had like Lenny Oro and Ugachukwu and Desire Due, like their partners and stuff, get in touch for shirts and stuff. But yeah, every now and then there's just a random view, like a random view and a like. And yeah, Richarlison's awesome. Like Richarlison will always sort of like drop something on it. Yeah, he's good. He's always on his, and then like Garnacho as well.
Yeah, he's had quite a few people paint him. I've seen him do bits and bobs and stuff in the past.
Yeah, he's really active.
I wish I'd kept a list of who I've sort of engaged with and that kind of thing. I remember Anton Ferdinand printed a West Ham shirt, and he messaged me saying that it was one of the few that he didn't have in his collection at home. He must have swapped it or given it away or something, and he was asking me to source the shirt as well as the print.
Wow.
But all I could find in that shirt was an XL, and he said it was too big. So I really wanted to say yes. Do you know what I mean? Because it would have been great to sort somebody like that out. As from a business perspective and an engagement perspective, and then naturally I would have abused my power and said, "Can you let Rio know what I'm doing?"
Yeah, exactly.
Jake, I mean, my mum was asking about your artwork this week, so she was asking to see pictures. She fucking loves it. She thinks you're amazing.
Yeah, mums do, mate. It's It's my market, to be fair.
You get into that age, mate. It's my mum's.
But just going to kind of quickly go back to the football show, which Custom Corinthians, Andy will be there painting these wonderful things. Obviously, we're going to be raising money for a wonderful cause. And I am going to announce there's a new thing that's going to be on sale. So you've got to get down there. I'm going to be making homemade cupcakes, and I'm going to be putting on top of the cupcake not only Wonderful World of Football shirts, kind of like logos, but I'm going to be doing images of Corinthians footballers on top, and I'm also going to be doing retro football shirts. That's right, I got my hands on a fucking edible printer thing, and I'm going to be printing. So if you're coming, or if you want a cupcake, send over what football shirt / Corinthian footballer you would like printed on a cupcake, and I'll do it for you.
Here we go. There's pre-order bakery now.
That sounded it sounded more like a call to arms. That I'm fucking empowered. Like, I want to go there now.
Yeah. and Woody, don't worry. I've already got your Chris Waddle one sorted out, mate.
Thank you. We got one order then, mate. I'll have one.
You've got to send a video of you eating it to Chris Waddle.
Yeah.
Just slowly.
Oh, just that will be a restraining order. Who is this weirdo in the
Keeps on following me around.
Hello, man. Chris.
Remember the super fan in Alan Partridge, Jed?
Yeah.
Just goes into the room. There's a tattoo of Chris Waddle on your body.
You're a mentalist.
Oh, I love that.
And also,
sorry, Rich.
No, it's all right. No, I liked it. There will also be some other, and I think what we're going to do is over the next few weeks, me and Jake and Woody are going to be working on something, and every week we'll try and drop a little hint of something else we're doing. So yeah, it's going to be show specific, and it's going to be Corinthians specific, and it's going to be phenomenal. So if you are kind of in the Essex area on the 18th of June, that sounds right, doesn't it? Is it the 18th or 19th of June?
28th.
18th of June.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I thought it was the 28th. I know it was something 8.
Because the Shirts versus Boots game Saturday the 14th. I thought it was later in the month.
Yep. Ignore that. I got the 8 right. I'm still thinking about football. 8. 28th of June. Don't come on the 18th.
Chris, you're selling your skills, because your number retaining is incredible. When a young boy's playing next, when's the Corinthian show? Them numbers.
If we keep this bidding, if you are going to go on the 18th of June, there'll probably be a 4-day county cricket game on. That's also fun, and support your local team. But if you want to come on the 28th as well, there's a free football show where we'll be selling football shirts, some yet to be announced merchandise, and also I'm going to be selling some cupcakes with footballers' faces on them. You know, it's one of those days where I just get everything wrong. Done. Yeah, well done. Right, okay, so thank you very much for listening, everyone. Chris, thank you so much for coming on the pod. We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
if people aren't following you on social media yet, where can they find you?
You can find me Cutting Edge Shirts 2 on Instagram, CES Shirts on Twitter, and also CES Shirts on TikTok now, because I am trying to branch out down with a kid. And I do slightly different stuff on TikTok. I'm not a restoration genius like some of the lads out there, but I try and do a little bit of sort of behind the scenes stuff and a few videos of how we put things together and how things are, a bit of process stuff. It's difficult because I'm fortunate that I'm very busy, so I can't spend ages doing videos and ages doing editing, because I actually need to get on with the meat of the work. But I try and do some different bits on there. So Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, X, whatever we call it, and TikTok now.
Cool. Fantastic. Jake, for those who, I don't know why they wouldn't be, because we say it every week, if they're not following you yet, where can they find some art on shirts?
So yeah, I'm at Art on Shirts FC on all of them as well, in various degrees of professionalism.
And Woody, first of all, how's the podcast, the other podcast, the new podcast going?
Yeah, really well. Really enjoying it. It's a lot of good fun. We've had some great questions and memories and everything sent in. So yeah, really enjoying it.
Thanks for that, by the way. Got a little shout out on the pod for mentioning David Becker's goal from the halfway line.
Indeed. We do try.
Yep. So where can people find that, and where can people follow that on social media?
So Instagram, it's on all of the listening platforms and YouTube. So Spotify, Amazon, Apple. That's VAP 90s Premier League podcast.
Absolute big time. He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. Annoying millions.
And if people want to look at just photos of yourself with all your wonderful shirt collection, where can they find you?
So Instagram only, which is WoodyW1988.
Yeah, if you see a Woody account on Twitter, it's fake, so report it. Because he's on Instagram only.
Yeah, Instagram only.
Someone trying to impress
And we are... I mean, why wouldn't you?
He's a beautiful man.
Yeah. And
thank you.
Helen, if people need any kind of editing or producing of some sort, and you have some free time when you're not too busy editing our podcast, because I've messed this one up royally, where can people find you and get in contact with you?
I'm at crabslam.com.
So I still love it. She got a website. We need a website. I don't know what'll be on the website, but we need one.
Cupcakes.
Anyway.
Easy.
Just a load of pictures of cupcakes. Right.
Cupcakes,
okay, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are the Wonderful World of Football Shirts. You can find us at ShirtsPod on social media. I think that's across all of the platforms that we're on. We post a podcast every week, hopefully without fail. We've run a long run and we'll continue to do so. If anyone wants to get in contact or suggest a guest or even suggest a topic for us to talk about or a shirt you'd like to talk about, then please send it over. We love it. We love a bit of interaction. Chris, it is my pleasure to give you the pleasure to say goodbye to our listeners.
Goodbye to all your wonderful listeners. Thanks for having me back. Really appreciate it. I've been looking forward to it, and hope everyone enjoys the listen. Thanks, guys.
Bye.